All right, we are back with Great Ace Attorney 2. Last time. Listen, if you didn't catch up last time, just go. I assume there's going to be immediate spoilers for last trial. If you haven't caught up, then please kindly make your way out the door. But anyway, last time we were reunited with an old friend. And even if it was a little predictable, I still got a little emotional, you know? It's always, you know, it was just a very sweet, tender moment. And I was just happy to see them back together. And also, we also may have gotten Mr. Science Man off the hook in his case of curious teleportation. I met the most gender man of all time, who may also be a terrorist, but let's not worry about that, among other things. So, that leaves us where we are now, with case 4 of 5 in Great Ace Attorney 2, which means there's only 2 cases left, which means we're in the end game now. Fuck. And we also sent the yard's best coroner to jail. Yep. I said it before, and you call it the red herring. Yeah. Listen, that was me in denial. It is like I said, it's not about the reveal. It's about like the impact. But you know, I'm awful with words, as we've established before. I literally called a terrorist GNC as fuck. So you can't hold me accountable for my words. I mean, you can. But I mean, I'm just stupid. It's a wonder I've gotten so far. Let's fucking get into this shit. God damn. Twisted Karma and his last bow / bow / whatever the fuck it is. Who's bowing? Who has a bow? Well, Drebber had a bow last time. But you know. Yeah. That is neither here nor there. Indeed, a most bizarre incident born of a curious advertisement at commonplace killing at the edge of town. Gender non-civilian.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed,
damn, look at all these red-haired peeps.
Incident born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound.
Yo, the hound.
Through the shadows of a serial murder.
It's back.
Executed man's graveyard.
What the dog do?
In the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is naturally always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson.
Oh shit,
So
off they
quickly now,
go.
Take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
Judging by the way they're phrasing this, wait. I mean, isn't it always like a bit of a, yeah, whatever. Let's not speculate, because I'm always an idiot when it comes to that. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Cosimo regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Oh shit, damn, this is a pretty fancy schmancy place, yeah. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment.
Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time.
Susato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Yeah, that. You suppose my father knew? That he was actually the mass murderer? The professor, you mean? I knew that was what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they?
Yes, that's true.
come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well?
That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it.
That probably means he knows then. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory now. Ah, there she is. Oh? Oh shit! Two of them! Papa and, Mr. Judge. I wouldn't mistake that beard for anything else. It's so weird seeing him not in, like, the fancy, like, judge getup from before. Hello, Sasato. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound.
Hello, Mr. Naruto. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh, no, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much, yo leg. Who is this man, and why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I forgot that's the voice you gave him. Look, if I'm not consistent with anything else, I gotta try and be consistent with the voices as much as I can. I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty. You're... Oh, nice to always have that trauma come back up. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Tail Sasuke's tattoo, but he's a mass murderer. Yeah, yes, okay. Your Excellency!
Hello, Judge Jigoku. How are you?
Oh, shit. Good, you've remembered now. That really did the trick. Been a long time. Yes, it has. For Ryunosuke, anyway. Guilty. Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. It was a very serious moment, you know. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. And neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Yujin? Of course, Judge Jigoku, he must complete the set. He's the other man who, 16 years ago, came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar. Yep. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? I knew you were jealous. Sorry? Ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Oh yeah. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on this study tour. Guilty as charged. Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Ah, yes. Now, Naruhodo, I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. A lot of time periods shifting back and forth here, yes. But the tragedy, that's the important part.
Yes. Could you tell us any more about it?
Can I, like, look at this fancy little place, though? Is there anything to look at? Look at that. It's a picture of the Crystal Tower.
Well, the Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements in recent years. I wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievement in so many ways.
It's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse. There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse near my lodgings at Yume University. The attendant there is always boasting it's the tallest object in the neighborhood.
I'm sure. Do you know that over the channel in Paris there's a tower that's 300 meters tall? What? How many times taller than the chimney at UA Silken Hot Springs is that? And if it's that tall, how does it drop properly? The smoke would get stuck, surely. I don't think it's that sort of tower, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, you too. It's good to be back.
Have you seen all those sparkling jewels up there? They must have gathered every gem in the world for that.
I do like taking these long breaks between parts, but it also makes me rusty every fucking time we start a stream. Long break. It's like 3 days at the most. But it feels like forever. I love these characters. I like seeing them.
It's called a chandelier, I believe. It's designed to provide elegant lighting in large, spacious rooms like this.
So they had to gather every gem in the world just to illuminate one room?
It's probably electric light bulbs that are actually throwing the light. If I tried to hang something like that from the ceiling in the office, it would be scraping on the floor. I think perhaps chandeliers aren't for you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yeah, it's true. What's going on over here?
That desk is known as the hotel reception. Anyone wanting to spend the night has to report there to sign in for their stay.
Oh, so do you think that's the head clerk behind the desk there?
Yes, I'm sure it must be.
I'd love to stay in a grand hotel like this for a little while, wouldn't you? Just to know what it's like.
If the hotel fee was paid through our stipend, I'm afraid it might bankrupt our homeland.
True. London gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. Rich people, am I right? Let's look at the luggage. Let's rifle through people's personal belongings. Look at those cases just left there on that trolley. Aren't they worried about thieves? I know I am.
Haven't you seen the porter over there? Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything.
Ah, so it's a trap designed to catch any chancers who might be tempted. Oh, hey! I forgot the voice I did for him.
Why did the porter give me such a scathing look just now, do you suppose? Well, some might say you look a little suspicious with your jet black clothes.
Well then, wouldn't Mr. Judge Man look suspicious too? Not everyone clad in black is some sort of ninja with intent to steal, you know. All right, let's go back and talk to Jigoku and Papa. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards, but it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. And I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience.
Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris.
We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow.
It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father.
It's thanks to Seishiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugen. You were close friends with the Professor of Forensic Science at a major hospital. You want some food for thought? Sure. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back.
Cosmo's father, I suppose.
Let's talk about him.
The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Cosmo's father, wasn't he?
That's correct. Genshin Impact Asogi. What else happened 10 years ago? Oh shit.
Genshin? You knew, I presume, Father?
Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland.
But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father?
No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts.
Oh, why?
As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up, so as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said, "I've decided I want to travel to Great Britain and study there."
Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death?
I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him.
Man's got that determination. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually.
Oh? What?
Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma's since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zeeks.
What? What? That's news to us.
So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part, then.
That's a bit
As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die. He's alive, as you knew, didn't you, Father?
In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive, and here in London, you say? I never dared to even dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now.
Well, yeah, about that. It seems that he was suffering from amnesia.
What? Amnesia?
When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were.
I see.
He only regained his memory 8 days ago. Yeah.
This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous even. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently.
I wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? Well, we can, but first let's talk. Let's talk some more with the papas.
That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Eugen here, Genshin Asogi, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today. I can tell you that.
16 years ago, things were tough for their generation, eh?
Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady.
Yes, grandmother told me.
You went to do research at the Great London Hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan.
Also, she says we haven't heard like much at all about like Sasato's like actual mother, have we? Just food for thought.
Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Not more talk of graves. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons.
Not my cup of tea at all.
Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was. He was a good man.
I don't remember that, but I assume you're talking with, Mr. Judge.
Jigoku. Yes, but then of course in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing, and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say, after that trial, we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly.
Man.
Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up in here for so long. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here.
Sato-san's gone off at a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow.
Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck.
Naruhodo.
Yes?
I hope you'll keep an eye on Sasato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been.
Don't you go dying on me, buddy. Buddy, I swear to God.
You're gonna wind up the fucking victim if you keep saying shit like that. Stop it. But I get the sentiment either way. Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me.
Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down.
Sorry? What do you mean?
Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Sasato was born.
Yeah, I heard.
The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too.
Oh, yeah. Sasato-san hinted at something like that. No, unfortunately, Ace Attorney really you could be in more than one, you could be in more than one game and die. Oh shit. It's a rather turbulent time at home.
Anyway, I won't bore you with the details.
Oop, shit.
The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Cicero, I still don't know how to pronounce that, God. I'm sorry. Offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say.
I completely understand, Professor.
One other thing, Naruto. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you.
Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you?
Well, the thing is, I'm
so sorry that took so long. Mr. Sato. Now then, allow us to take your bags.
Allow me to take your bags.
I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of... I don't remember the voice that I gave the juror, so I'm just doing this stock voice right now. Larry still won't die no matter how hard we try. Yeah. Cicero? Cicero? Something like that? Okay.
One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir.
I didn't even do the same voice between takes there. Great.
That machine around your neck, it's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Duh! Yes, of course.
Aww. Me at Naruhodo. Aw, the scrunkly. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, though. Perhaps I'll try and meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. The subject like conventional warfare tactics. Hana, what are you doing here? I thought you said you weren't gonna. Or you haven't been here for the rest of the time. Oh, okay. See ya. All right, bye. You really got me for a second. Glue.
All right, let's move out.
The menu's chugging a bit. Okay, we're good now. We're good. Okay, it was just loading up the things. Let me go back to the legal consultancy. I wanna do my daily shovel scan. Boop. Spade is still here. Look. Please, Mr. Naruhodo, it's not a spade, as I think you well know. It's a shovel. Didn't take long to reignite that old argument. Ah, I have an idea. Let's give the implement a name like Professor Harebrain named his tools. Oh, I never thought of doing that. From now on then, let's call it Ryunosuke. No. It's clearly much more of a Sasato. The old argument has taken a new and unexpected turn, it seems. Oh, I got the achievement for looking at all the shovel dialogue, I think. Damn! Does that mean we're done with the shovel arc? Fuck. Oh well. I suppose all good things must come to an end. Let's go talk to the Lord Chief Justice, I guess. And then we'll go back home. Even though I was just here. Oh, hi! Van Zeeks. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zeeks doing here?
My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say?
This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. But then they made eye contact and oh fuck. Hey buddy! How you been? My apologies, I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me. That's a bit more aggressive than I'm used to from you. How have you been? Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure.
From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here.
But then I'd look just like my lad. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I'm right here. Kill me now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced the room with such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madam.
Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited.
I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Van Zeeks. I will attend them at once. Oh, I see that glare you were shooting at me, motherfucker. Strongheart is probably not thrilled about what we did to see. Yeah, fair.
He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he?
I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? Runo, please.
Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe.
Oh, of course. Right. I knew that. I'm terribly sorry about all that. I was just, Okay, was she girl boss too close to his son? She was asking for it. She needed to girl boss from a reasonable distance, like Mr. Spells. Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Van Zeeks is doing an admirable job holding the fort, though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh. Oh man, I sure hope everything that's going wrong relating to your side of the law isn't related to something I did. That'd be crazy.
What's become of Kazuma-sama now?
Do you have any, anything? No, just the armband. Okay.
Can I show you this, Lord Strongheart?
I'm the Lord Chief Justice. I'm here to offer advice about evidence. Oh. Especially when the evidence in question is so dull. Ah, so that's the real reason. Okay. I wonder if this has a new dialogue on it now, considering circumstances. It's very fine embroidery here. It shows the name of the armband's owner. In this case, Kazuma Asogi. So I'm always carrying my best friend's hopes and dreams with me on my right arm just here, all the time. To be honest, it's something that weighs very heavily on me.
Oh, I didn't realize it was such a burden, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yeah, I think that's why my right shoulder aches so much.
Are you sure it's not to do with you reading in bed or the like?
Damn, alright. I think that's the same as it was before, which is a shame. I was hoping it would change. Not long ago, Visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million.
30 million? Are there even that many people in the world?
Bruno.
As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital of Tokyo is 2 million.
I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries.
Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations!
The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques. And cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark first symposium has to be hosted here, at the heart of our great British Empire. In order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World.
He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science.
I don't know if that's entirely true.
It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say.
Unintended repercussions of our trial. Great! We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though.
Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way.
Sure, buddy. Okay, yeah, that ain't sus. No, absolutely not. About Lord Van Zeek's apprentice.
Ah, yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends.
How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zeek's in the first place?
Came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel.
Oh my! So he stowed away to get here?
He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zeek's. That way I could keep an eye on him.
But then why the mask?
I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zeek's with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice.
Okay, so to curb the racism. Gotcha. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask.
He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zeek's. I have high hopes for his future.
By the way, do you know where he's gone?
No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being.
Oh. Would he though?
I take it you also didn't know. That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean.
Genshin Asogi. Tell me about the dad crimes. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was...
Ah, yes. Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain.
They were such awful murderers. They were such awful murders and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon.
Oh, it's all coming full circle, eh? And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student to invite to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London.
The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand.
Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause.
What? Supporters of a mass murderer?
The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Also, a fair few thinkers of London believed anyway.
Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Susato, I don't think I can take another dead person actually still being alive. Eat the rich, end of story. We already... Well, I mean, now that we talked about it, maybe. No? Okay. There was no conclusion to this discussion. We just sort of... It didn't fade to black like usual, so I would assume there's more going on here, but I guess not. Let's go to Sholmes' place for a bit, eh? Why is the mask here? What? What? What was that?
A man screaming in a most unflattering way. Do you think... Could it have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I do hope not.
Hi?
I don't do it anymore! Mon ami.
Who are these absolute clowns?
Stop this disgraceful display, oh.
Who are these people?
Look at their hair, it's bright red.
Just like at the beginning of that story. Uh-oh.
I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes.
Oh, hey, Gina.
Right, you two, you're coming with me now, down to the clink. No, not in prison, it's dark and damp, and I don't like it.
Both, the darkness, it is my friend. I am not scared.
But you're always scared of the dark.
Shut your mouth, you idiot! I will sit quietly in the dark and play our next darling heist.
I don't like this. I don't like it. Well, tough. We'll finish this down at the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun.
I feel like I walked into something I don't understand, but carry on then, fellas.
Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Bruno.
Hello, Iris. We're home.
Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Ah, yes, of course.
I gotta stop. I'm sorry for being so consistently loud tonight. Dr. John H. Wilson. So, Iris, all that remains now is the greatest of problems known to man. Ah! Ah! He's a redhead! Fuck! But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Cursed! Cursed! Get the fuck back! I'm going to become the Joker! Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, you could say that. Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say.
Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea.
Whatever's going on here today. In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today. Are we just not gonna freaking, like, address that? Let's examine this, I guess. The masked Cosmo Woman, he was assigned to Lord Van Zeke's his apprentice. When I cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. You know, just straight people things. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? and I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? Yeah, we already know we got the blackboard thing, unfortunately. So I think that's gonna be the same as it always is. Shit. Fine. We'll talk. Two visitors, the greatest problem. Are we just not going to address the fucking hair? Are we just not going to address the fucking hair? Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Even though they had, like, entire character models, they were completely insignificant. Don't you worry, of course they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. When the mood takes you? All manner of infractions? But, when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my! You were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes? But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. You should have asked Gregsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. He must be busy. You know how Scotland Yard gets. The man is constantly in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha! I have it. A bungler. That's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads have been up to no good, eh? I wonder what the men did. What was that about the greatest of problems on the man you mentioned before? What is Ladoggle doing? What does that mean? Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes? How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Wait, is it something relating to this game or what? Well, I think I've heard of talk of it somewhere, possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops. Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it's been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent! I mean, we're the only species who has to pay to keep living. It really is quite unfortunate, isn't it? I also don't know shit about this game, fair enough. But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Spells only the other day? A large sum? One potted herb for Iris, a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure you. Yo, you got a fucking ride now? Hell yeah, though. Honestly, Hurley, you know you squandered it. Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes. Is it the hair? Please address the hair. Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die. I would assume the gag is that we're just not addressing it, but... Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There's one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. In the end? Fuck, we acknowledged it. It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Miss Naruhodo. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on for much longer. Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us, I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. That case aboard the SS Burya in January. Cosmo wasn't killed. And you knew he wasn't dead at the time. What was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. He hadn't regained consciousness when he did. His life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they'd carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. And I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse.
Oh, how horrible.
It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course.
But why? Why do it in the first place?
I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong.
Oh.
I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment.
Mr. Sholmes.
Well, shit, damn, what am I supposed to do? I don't have evidence to present! I'm running out of ends to go with here. I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Although, I do yearn for a Japanese kotatsu. Putting your legs under a warm blanketed table is so comforting.
Do be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't mistakenly put your feet into the fire, will you? You'd suffer terrible burns, you know.
I worry sometimes about how Susato-san sees me. Oh yeah, the newspaper.
This looks like last week's edition.
What's that article circled in red ink there?
It's an advertisement column. It says, "To the Red-Headed League."
The Red-Headed League? What's that?
I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but...
Is something on my face? Clearly this has something to do with that lively hair.
Also, did we ever figure out what the deal with this is? Up here? No? Okay.
I'll just leave that there. Hey.
It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes.
To the Red-Headed League? Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learnt to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry?
In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? It's not getting any easier to look at, by the way. I'm still not used to it. So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be a subject of the advertisement you've circled? You've noticed it in the paper, then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me.
Listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week?
But why? What are they paying people for? For being fashion disasters? That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement.
But surely every redheaded person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put it in my application at once.
No, look, I can tolerate Sholmes, but I literally don't think I can handle Iris with red hair. That would be cursed as hell.
So will I. Just on the off chance.
You'd be even worse with it, Sasato. Listen, I hate to bring down your dreams and all that, but I'm just telling it how it is. That might be stretching a point, I think.
The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see.
Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away.
It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes.
So you decided to try and join in his place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it. What happened, huh?
What'd you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes?
I'm glad you asked, Mr. Satu. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. What? I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in this course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair a flame-like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass.
But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it?
Amateurs are always hampered by such fears. Oop.
Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say...
But of course. To earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. A degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely.
So anyway, Hurley left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street where the Red-Haired League were interviewing prospective new members.
So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk, like a Costa's orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. When the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" Damn. So naturally, I had no choice but to reply. Shh, don't give me away. After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police.
Oh dear, what a disaster for Hurley and those two redheads.
Aha! Here is my guest now, my latest client with money to spend.
Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley.
Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will ya?
Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can act a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Eh? Oh, hey! Another juror!
Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, please, oh please. Please find my husband. He's run away.
To upset me? I beg your pardon. Never mind, a personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madam, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please.
Of course.
What's the matter, Mr. Sato?
Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently.
Yeah, in court. Yeah, now that you come to mention it.
As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure.
Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are the picture of benevolence.
I will of course make a mental note of your offer, however, for, contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also.
If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be,
me?
What I am about to tell you, I should like to communicate with the strictest confidence, you understand.
Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me.
Ah, I see.
I can vouch for the gentleman personally, after all. He's hard of hearing. When did I ever get my hopes up? God dang it, man. Okay, let me examine that newspaper in a bit more detail. Oh, okay. This sounds like a scam. To the Red-Headed League on account of the request of the late Izakaya Hopkins of Lebanon, PA, USA. There is now another vacancy open which entitles a member of the league to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services. All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind and above the age of 21 years are eligible. Apply in person on the morning of the 31st at the Large Park at Lime Street. A fantastic money-making opportunity. Let's see, there's public health report. What's that over there? I can't read the whole title. There's also the hospital, I guess. I'm not reading everything here because it feels like it's just a bunch of flavor text. Alright, let's talk. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but we have met somewhere before, yes? Quite recently? Oh my. Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. Excuse you! If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? I knew I recognized her. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now. It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean. Pardon? Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really, nothing more. Now look what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, Ryunosuke, it's 4 p.m. It's time for your dick flattening. Tell us about your husband, madam. Mr. Vigil, my daily, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here. Oh yeah, he sure is rich. He is an entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. Well, thanks for spitting facts, Sholmesy. How long have you been married? It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably. As would appear. I need only look at you to know these things. Oh gosh! Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are quite animated. They must have let quite a bit of budget into your animations. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct? That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison. A guard? That is somewhat unusual. So, your husband is a prison warder? That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's a chief warder. Oh, okay. Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. In English, this guy is named Everyday Middlemont, which means something like watchman. Okay. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out. Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital? And at such a times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. Or for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors. I don't really know where this accent is going. It's sort of going halfway between Southern Belle and British. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really? Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery. That sounds familiar. No! Yep. Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court! That's unbelievable! Unbelievable, my dear fellow. And yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you've lost me. Ah, pay no heed, madam, pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? Tell me about your husband's disappearance. So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing?
Please try not to laugh.
Oh boy, this is gonna be good.
It was yesterday.
I'm sorry, yesterday? It really is recent, laughably so.
The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. For him to not make any contact for a whole day, this has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever could have happened?
My dear Miss Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police?
Why, naturally, but sadly, they refuse to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home.
In truth, Miss Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
And furthermore, let me assure you, let me be clear, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on a Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it.
You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention.
You seek only to put the sweets rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation.
Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir.
Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with an heartening report, I'm quite sure.
So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes.
Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. He appears to have no particularly distinctive facial features. He's white. Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door.
I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous.
I really need to put the Mario 64 teleport sound on my soundboard. On God.
You know, I think it every time, Hurley. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two, are you sure?
He does have weird eyebrows. I mean, kinda, but they kind of look like... They're kind of similar to Gregson's eyebrows, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I've seen Gregson's face, though. I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her some good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Don't look at me with those... Stop looking at me with those pleading eyes! Was that the right sound? I really hope that wasn't accidentally the punching sound. Okay, I think we're fine. I think we're good. Bloop. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked, at Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that, yes.
Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery.
I did turn off those boot womp inhibitors. Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghost of condemned convicts.
Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated.
The professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed, but nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Run along to the prison and see what you can glean, would you? If it's the prison governor you want, no doubt the man is equally worried.
But aren't you going to go yourself?
Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair! Bruh. But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was a quite different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. I've got to go find some sort of soap that can wash this absolutely cursed... Wait, it's not a dye, it's chemicals. Fuck. Of course you are. Alright, let's move out. The prison governor's office. Alright, let's go over there. We haven't been there, have we? I'm rather excited about it. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing in onto a lonely burial ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. Oh, nice rifle and, shotgun and guillotine grandfather clock. Oh my god, what's going on here? Also, nice bird. Can I cross-examine it? Hello? This place is full of hardened criminals. I cannot remember the last time a civilian was down here. And you didn't want to talk an inmate, but to me. God damn, look at this fucking unit. Do you know who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Caden. Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. And an Easterner, I see. Does that mean, Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes. Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? Oh, okay, sure. Wow. Okay, motherfucker. I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, we came to ask you some questions that I don't like to be so direct, but I've no intention of speaking with the likes of you suspicious-looking Easterners. Now get out of my hair! So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this, huh? That surely means... racist. I think it's because of that professor case. You think so too? 10 years ago. I always remember, I remember the first time I interacted with Japan. I always hated it! Genshin Asogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known! Yeah? You're sniffing around about that case, aren't you? Your agents here? Part of the Professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just getting going with ya. Before I punch your lights out. We're going. Clearly, the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not gonna get anywhere here. Unless we could somehow prove this man there's nothing suspicious about us. Governor Caden? What are you thinking, Mr. Sato? I feel sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I had the same feeling. I said get out! Okay. Damn, he won't even like open up a topic. Okay, yeah. Let's just I think it was you. Maybe it was either you or Mikatoba, I think. Can we not present profiles? My memory is failing me a bit right now. He be reading the newspaper. What's up, buddy? That's Professor Mikatoba over there. Ah, hello, you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. Where's Judge Jigoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs. Having only just arrived in the country? Goodness, he is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before. About how you'd known the prison governor at Barclay Prison? Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? So it is the same man. Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful, if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable settee? Now, I have a rather lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry. Didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts? Let's not fall out now, I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper, eh? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Ah, thank you. The letter of introduction. Hopefully now he'll be willing to talk to us. Good luck then. Thanks, buddy. Papa. Oop. Looks like there's some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Gross, first class cabin 001. Yokohama departure, the 11th of September. London arrival, the 1st of November. Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yeah, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Buria. Seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? It's written on the back of a ticket for a steamship. Okie dokie. Professor Mikotoba has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is this me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish he at least called you a nice young man. What a nice young man. I'm really not sure that would help. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden.
What's this then? You can't pull the wool over my eyes, a good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikotoba? That young jot from the forensic laboratory. That Mikotoba.
Yes, exactly! Him! Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yujin Mikotoba's daughter, Susato.
Jings, you're the young man's daughter? And you didn't think to mention that afore?
I do apologize.
Aye, well, you'd best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And then I forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits.
Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now.
It was a 5-minute diversion, it's fine.
So then, what can I do for you, hen?
Well, we're currently investigating a case.
It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing.
Missing?
That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor.
I've not heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison.
Oh. But how can that be? It's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder.
Vigil?
That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now.
Clearly that means something to him.
Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir?
Aye, of course.
First, let me examine your fucking disaster of an office. God.
This grandfather clock it's fitted with a terrifying blade that keeps dropping down.
It's modeled on the guillotine, a French execution device. You might have heard of it. And yes, before you ask, it can chop.
Heads off, you mean?
Others, no. Carrots and parsnips and so forth.
Oh.
If you place a large carrot at the bottom of there in the morn, by evening you'll have cut it clean in two.
Well, the blade must have an almost indescribable edge on it then.
Okay.
I suppose these are all former governors of Barclay Prison, are they?
Either that or former inmates who the governor has sent out to the gallows.
Oh dear, they all such severe expressions I really couldn't deny either possibility.
Especially the one on the extreme right. His expression goes beyond severe into a whole new territory. I wish we could see it.
That one's me.
Ah! I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Is it a prerequisite of the job, perhaps? Having a severe expression, I mean.
Of course it's not, although it is taken into consideration.
A lot. an axe, a hunting rifle, and 4 pairs of handcuffs? That's a daunting collection.
Ah, there's a story behind every one of these.
And I'm sure we could talk about it at a different time than now. You mean the rifle was a famous killer's murder weapon, and the axe was wielded by an infamous executioner? And the handcuffs were once used to immobilize a fierce 4-legged beast when it was arrested? I think you're in the realms of fantasy now, Mr. Naruhodo.
Not those kinds of stories, Jimmy.
Yeah, my name's not Jimmy, it's Naruhodo.
That axe was the one I used to chop down the cherry tree at my house. Miss Kaiden wasn't I the best pleased. And the cuffs on the left were the ones I got my first burglar with back when I was a bobby.
Stories are a little different to those you imagine, I think, weren't they? Yeah, to my relief, and some small way, my disappointment. I never expected to find a parrot in Oh my god, it's a parrot. Given where we are, it's hard not to see the poor creature as a prisoner.
Ah, let me out! Nah, did they kill me?
Ah! Has the bird learned to mimic the plaintive cries of the inmates in the cells?
Ouch, no, he was one of the 3 siblings, you see. And he still cows out the names of his 2 brothers like that all the time.
Right.
Let me out! They kill me! Aye, I hear you, laddie. You want your dinner, eh? Didn't they do it?
Oh, what the fuck is going on with those fuckers? Oh. That's a very large cabinet full of papers, isn't it? It's labeled inmate register. Look, all the files are in alphabetical order.
That's 50 years worth of records of Barclay's inmates, yeah? Whether or no they left alive after serving their term. All the details about the crimes they committed fuck. Recorded in there, like an epitaph, you might say.
A record of crimes and punishments. How disappointing. And yet, this man seems to be enjoying tea and biscuits as he talks about it. Is that everything? I mean, there's a chandelier. And a deer head, I guess. That deer has been staring at me for a while now. It has? The poor thing can't fit through a small hole in the wall, but it can't get its head back out again now either. Give me a woefully imploring look. It's not real, Mr. Naruhodo. It's stuffed. What? I mean, yeah, of course it is. For a moment, I thought it was another assassin sneaking in via the ventilator. I don't like to say, but I think perhaps you need to reread The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. All right, that's enough dilly-dallying around. Let's talk with the fucking cop. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison.
Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warder.
It's now just turning... It's now turning into like a fucking... It's turning into like a deeper pitch McGilded voice now, and I hate that. God, I need to rework on my range. Between Spirit of Justice and this, I lost all of my range, I think, and that sucks. Sorry, did you say was?
Was that the... Aye, he doesn't work here no more. He left the job.
Oh my! What was this exactly?
There's a question. When was it about? Can I have been much less than, 10 years ago now.
What? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago?
Aye, as I mind it. You can I haven't heard the fella's name in all this time. It's a worry if he goes missing, though.
But Mrs. Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Kaiden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here?
That's important, is it?
Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't help wondering, given it was 10 years ago. Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. So, Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warder 10 years ago, you're telling us? But he died 50 years ago. What the fuck? What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter.
You mean he was dismissed?
It was, after a particular walk.
Sorry, a walk?
Aye, that's our word for it here. A walk to the gallows.
An execution?
It's the job of the chief warden to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only, Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning.
What did he do?
I'm sorry, but, can I reveal that information? But I can tell you it's very rare for a chief warden to be relieved of his post.
Why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here.
I wouldn't get anything about that, I'm afraid.
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
And what would that be in?
That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's? My thoughts exactly.
I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm at no liberty to answer that.
I see. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted.
The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. You can?
Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
Your father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. In the basement of St. Sinners. I'm still in use today.
St. Sinners? That's come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been here.
Mikatoba and I often used to ride in the carriage together to negotiate terms.
Okay, I am fluctuating between like Russian and Scottish. I need to find me Scottish back. I need to find a way to get that voice back in me palate, you know. That's close enough. It's still awful, but that's part of the charm of it.
Mikatoba and I often used to ride in a carriage together and negotiate terms.
For more fresh material, I suppose.
Aye, and we used to sit in here for hours and gub about the section and all sorts. Oh, it takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course.
How charming.
He was a good fella, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. What are you doing in my office? But I'm afraid, I'll never understand you Japanese.
Because of Genshin Asogi, I suppose. Goddamn Genshin.
Well, I can't tell you anything else.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Governor.
Oh, one moment before your way in. I'm sure I have it in here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison.
What is it? Vigil's dismissal notice. Oh, shit. Oh my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original mind.
The harsh reprimand incurred by Mr. Vigil 10 years ago that resulted in him losing his job as chief warder. Thank you very much, Governor Caton.
Well, in return,
do me a favor and never come back here, okay? Fair enough. Bye-bye. See you at the trial, then. Well, I think we have to return to Baker Street for a time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found about Mr. Vigil. What will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? Oh, Sholmesy.
Oh, Sholmesy, we're back. Oh boy. I've never used a voice like this in this game yet. Have I just completely avoided this sort of pseudo-plankton sounding thing? Yeah. Maybe with the next male character I find, I can use something like this.
Hello, you two. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all. Ah, so that's what the delicious smell is. Ah! Oh no, he's turned into Ninja Fortnite!
Greetings, my dear fellows. You've returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. He is gonna get the green hair at some point, and then I'm going to have to make then the Joker thing's gonna come full circle. Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. It turns out there may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application.
Oh my.
Pray tell me, what of our warder friend? Have you garnered some new information?
Yes, something very surprising, in fact.
Though it's not a pat on your hair, to be honest.
It's most certainly isn't, but still we decided that Sholmes!
Hey, Gina. Blue tie, red tie. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier.
Drop everything, Sholmes. This is more important.
Gina? Gina?
I can't Adam and Eve it.
Gina, what's wrong? Honey.
What's happened?
Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Mr. Strahd made no mention of my hair whatsoever. Okay, buddy, please. Okay, now is not the time for that.
It's the boss.
What do you mean? Inspector Gregson?
The boss is, he's... No! What? They just found this body, shot with a pistol. What? But, Inspector Gregson? He was murdered? No, not Gregsy.
Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. Gina, what's wrong?
Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was really shot? I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene.
Where did this take place?
A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street.
The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then.
The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case there. Oh, how strange. The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I'd be a proper detective. Oh, Ginny.
So who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is?
They got him already. Already?
They've caught the shooter so soon?
A witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him. Who? What awful person did this? I still can't believe it myself. Gina? It was the Reaper.
What?
Wait a minute. You don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zieks for it? That's right. That Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss.
Oh my god, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? I need a moment. Oh my god. This is all happening so fast.
No! Lord Van Zieks?
Are you quite sure, Mr. Strahd? It's Beric Van Zieks the police have arrested.
I saw him with my own eyes. In the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him. So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot, apparently. And when our lot got to the scene, there was only the boss and the Reaper bloke in the room.
But there's no way Lord Van Zieks would have taken Gregson's life.
I just don't believe it. I don't believe it either.
No, my boy.
There ain't no fucking way they would just yoink him like that.
Thank you for informing us, Mr. Strahd.
I know, like, it was like the bit that I was in denial about, like, Kazuma or whatever, but like, no, for real, there just ain't no goddamn way.
Thank you for informing us, Mr. Strahd. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry.
What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come in all, as soon as you can. You gotta help.
I didn't even get to, like, voice him one more time. He's just gone? It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot is unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes.
What use is there being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming, How could I let this happen to Gregson? Gregson.
Also, so much for Ladoggle's comment earlier, huh? Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes. We will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later, then. Inspector Gregson dead, and Lord Van Zeek's arrested.
Runo, Susie, I've called you a hansom. It's waiting outside.
Thank you, Iris. Shall we, Mr. Sato?
Yes.
Oh, this is so messed up. No. No, I'm gonna see his body and I'm gonna fucking cry. I'm actually gonna cry. Oh wait, no, they would have taken the body, right? There's a chalk outline. Fuck. Okay, I don't have to deal with that. Okay. This really isn't out of the way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden rented old room is where it happened then.
So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life.
Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere.
Oi! What do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can look underneath and all. I want the space above this ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey, ain't you lot never gone out looking for dough when the owners are out of town?
Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques when she wants everyone to adopt.
Oh, so you've turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself.
Hello again, Gina.
Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. He went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking that out of his, and then he just scarpered. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, Odo, you're a lawyer, right?
Yes. Why?
Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are you?
Oh. Poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever.
Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zeeks really is responsible for this crime, he'll be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah? Go on then, Odo. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here.
Thank you, Gina. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place?
That's what I want to know. It's what, half a year since I got out of the clink? That's why I decided to give up me diving and becoming a detective instead.
Oh yeah, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he?
Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that.
He did?
Yup, and ever since then, he's sort of going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else in the yard even knows that what half the cases he's working on are, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. I'll take my hat off to that fella, were his words. Not how the general public feels, is it?
Most people are terrified of the Reaper.
Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke.
I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in such high regard.
He said something else to me and all, that I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, because he only goes after the people what are bad. It did kind of set my mind at ease when he said that.
Right. What is this place then? Does anyone live here?
Apparently it's being rented by some cove called Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone?
It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, that, isn't it?
Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him.
I see. Well, judging from appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever.
Right? All the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation, but there's so little in, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mrs. Sato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself?
Huh? How could that be?
Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that he was in fact some kind of secret office of his.
I'd never even considered that.
Oh, nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves.
You are?
If you look around the room, you'll see there's a few things that hints at it.
We should really investigate this place in more detail.
I see that's where the poor inspector was found, over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in.
Damn.
Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall.
Oh yeah, it's blown one of the candles completely apart.
And the gun the gun used is there on the floor. It's the Reaper's, isn't it? No denying it. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I heard. I don't know much about guns myself. But some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him?
The bigwig lawman, is it?
Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who heard the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll be getting a grilling.
Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers?
I doubt it. The lads of the yard will just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for a grilling and all.
So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. All right, let's investigate some.
Oh, it's a photograph. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Gregson's family members. Ah.
What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head.
They are! Look, Mr. Naruhodo, quickly!
Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow?
Of course he's familiar. We only met her this morning. Duh! It's...
What was your name again?
Evie. Mrs. Vigil! That too, that works. This makes no sense. Why would a picture of Mrs. Vigil be in here?
It is Evie, isn't it? Yeah, Evie Vigil, okay. Man, I'm so fucking sad. Why did he have to go and die, huh?
To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm sorry to say I have no idea either.
He's found a desk at the scene of the crime. An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it?
It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time.
In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather.
Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely.
No, that's right, it's one or the other.
Looks like some sort of notice board or something. It's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Mr. Naruhodo, look! This you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here. And details of prison inmates. Yeah, in fact, they're all the sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. Missed like half an hour of stream. Oh fuck, how do I tell you? Oh my god, how do I fucking tell you? Oh no. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. Ah, and this one here. Oh yeah, the advertisement you mean. It says Red-Headed League. But why? Should I just come back for the VOD? Probably. Maybe. I'm not sure if that's my call, to be honest. Why? What's that doing here? All I can say is that I'm just very sad right now. So, whoever occupied this room is clearly interested in it for some reason. Alright, let's talk to you. Excuse me?
Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir.
Poor man, he can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. Excuse me?
If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things of the yard.
I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. Boop. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed those boards over the broken glass, haven't they? Couldn't even really call it a window anymore. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least still let in some light, so you could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. Top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. Yeah, there's wax splattered on the wall behind, look! I suppose if a bullet had hit it, it does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body. Ugh, now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Candelabrum! A candelabrum from the wall of the room on Fresno Street where the inspector was found dead. The top of one of the candles appears to have been blown off. Oh, what's this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way. Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zeke's playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful after all, in a way. I'm very fucking mad. There's gonna be hell to pay for this one. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off of this thing. I think this entire like series has taught me like. Well, actually, no. I was about to say if it ain't Gumshoe, don't get attached. But Gina's good. She's not dead yet. But like, fucking, I don't really care that much for Emma. And like, fucking Fulbright turned out to be whatever the fuck that was. God. I always end up invested in the inspectors, but to no avail, except with Emma, who was just kind of there. Funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! A bright red hairpiece. And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means you have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And it's such a flame-colored red, too. What was he, cosplaying a Fire Emblem character? No, that was after this time. Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? I mean, I know Emma has her fans and all that. Just personally, she never really did much for me. She just very much, like, I know she has a lot of different quirks to her character, but for me personally, she never really escaped that stigma of Science Maya. And again, I know she like sort of evolved into her own, and for those of you that enjoy her, cool. I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, she's cool, I guess. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. Presumably it belonged to Inspector Gregson. I'm not sure about that. All right, the gun. This is presumably the murder weapon then. Oh my, it's real, I suppose? I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I know very little about them. There's only one way I know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot!
No, 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 no. If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Like, because she's homophobic and a bitch. Damn. It's slightly safer just to ask someone who might know, I think.
I should probably be analyzing all this newfangled evidence in the court record. Daily Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect for violating Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. All rights of redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Aiding and abetting the crime of convict just prior to his execution. Details of this escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be inspected. Indications that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded.
Okay. Framed photograph. Yep, it's she. Candelabrum. Alright. Let me look at that. Ah, there's some black marks here. Look. Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks. So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think?
It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, I think.
Yeah, I think you may be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them.
Yeah, alright then. Man, fuck. I shouldn't be as hung up on this as I am, but it's like, fuck, you know? Craigslist was a cool dude. The helmet of this charming placement appears to be a little worse for wear. I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if someone has enjoyed twisting it around for fun.
Shall we try twisting it around and around too, for fun?
What?
Duh! What's that? It appears to be some sort of key.
But it's tiny though. It couldn't be a key for a door, not that size.
So what is it for, I wonder?
Giving a twist causes a key-like shaft to pop out from the base.
Fucking wild. This looks like some sort of key. Yeah, it does. A very tiny and simple key.
What's a little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? What's it for?
God damn.
Yo, wig snatched. I'm sorry, this is in bad taste. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like.
That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you?
I'm not sure it's quite how I'd put it. You must have to use a lot of bird lime to keep it in place on your head. So it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean.
That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think? I suppose this must have been the murder weapon. Oh my, is it real, I suppose?
I think so. Guns are so rare, I really know very little about them. Perhaps I'm more familiar with firearms can shed some light on some things. Would Gina know? She always had that big old smoke gun before. Not that that's even close to the same thing, but you know. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right.
Perhaps I better leave you to your work then. So I suppose this is where the victim... That's right, this rope was laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. He would probably be under Dr. Scythe's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost.
I know it's just a rope, but...
well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image. Especially with that bloodstain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. Sato-san is so strong, though. She's taking this far better than I am.
Now is not the time for lamp oil. Okay, no, it's never not time for lamp oil, but you know. I'm feeling emotions. Just a wee bit. Okay, I think that's everything. Gina, do you know anything about guns? What do you make of this? What is that, evidence? Work something out about what happened, have ya?
Oh, no, not exactly.
I ain't been long enough in the job to get all this deducting business yet, but I swear I'm gonna get the person what did this to the boss.
Do you know anything about this key? No? No? Okay. I'm just checking everything because you never know. I'm blindsided with feelings. I can't exactly work things out very well. Wait! Would the governor? He had a gun. I think I have examined everything in here. Hey, Poke. I know you don't really care about spoilers, so I'm just gonna come out and say it. Luigi's fucking dead and I'm sad! God damn it! I'm still not over it. I also feel awful for Gina because she like looked up to him and all that, but like fuck. Anyway, where's the goddamn governor? Can I even go back to him? Oh yeah, the prison governor's office. Oh, he's not in. I would have thought out of anybody here. The one with the literal gun on his wall would have been the one to talk to about guns. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just fucking around. Trying to get things done with. Wait, so who's the suspect? Lord Van Zeeks. It really is just a fucking tumbleweed of a case right now. Anyway, we should go check on him. Hey, buddy. There he is. Lord Van Zeeks behind bars. So it's true. He really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zeeks! I mean, he was already sort of redeeming himself beforehand, but... fancy meeting you here. And yes, he... Listen, as much as they still try and play a sympathy card, listen, professor or no, he's still been kind of racist to us, so I can't entirely redeem him, but God, we're going to understand him, I think. The last place on Earth I'd like to be with the last person on Earth I'd like to see. Couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Alright, you heard him. Let's go home. Forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? The Yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh? Oh, who might that be? Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain. Oh! Okay. Of course, yeah. I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zeeks never minces his words, but they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. He's not calling me a slur today. Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zeeks? What happened? I pulled out a gun and I shot it. How much you already know. Anyway, I started blasting. We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot. Then you're well informed, and there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself.
But the gunshot! Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you?
I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. No, I also heard the noise. However, before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers.
I don't think that's amnesia. I think that's literally he wasn't in the room. He's not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I didn't have the chance to investigate. So he doesn't actually know what happened. Like, I know you need reading comprehension to understand this game. Okay, that's mean, Perry. Oh my god. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with?
I don't need to answer that.
Oh!
After all, you're not representing me.
He's gonna need a lawyer, though. Who's gonna be representing you in court, Lord Van Zeeks?
Anyone other than you, I should imagine.
But there are no other defense attorney models in this game. No other models have been rigged to be a defense attorney.
Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation?
Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know.
But this is different!
In my career, all of the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now.
Surely not.
I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole.
But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you?
It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that.
What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrand was supposed to go back to Germany, I thought.
It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper.
Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean?
Yes, so it seems. Your stooped little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day.
Yeah, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrand is safely back in Germany now.
He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry.
There's a 2-second silence, that's all.
Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you.
I was wondering, Lord Van Zeeks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you.
You trust me, do you?
Yes! I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure you would never have taken another's life. I mean, you're an asshole, but like, you wouldn't go that far. Intentionally. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly.
It's a very gracious offer. However, I trust no one.
Damn, what?
Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese.
But please!
I have no intention of engaging your services.
The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems.
I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. And neither of us will waste any more time.
God damn it. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zeeks, what happened to Inspector Gregson.
Shit damn, boys!
Oh yeah, Strongheart, are you around? Are you in? Hello?
You've made good time.
I took an express train back to London. Oh? What did I just walk in on? I can hear Lord Strongheart. Can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone.
Oh shit! Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork.
It's Kazuma-sama!
What are you doing talking to my boyfriend, Strongheart?
Ah, your timing is impeccable.
It is?
No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry.
Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. I mean, that Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson.
No, I believe it, but I also only believe in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective.
Oh no, surely not!
It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes.
So does that mean the trial is tomorrow? And the trial's tomorrow! Precisely.
In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Or perhaps reintroductions, I would say.
Kazuma.
Ah, but of course, you've already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Asogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings, leading the prosecution. God damn it.
Wait. What? Kazuma?
As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law.
Kazuma-sama? A prosecutor?
I mean, yeah, that just doesn't seem like him. Judging by what we knew before, but he does have the cravat, though.
I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be all right now.
Has your memory completely returned?
Yes, completely. I remember everything, including what I was coming here to do.
Right. Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come here to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia?
It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London.
I'm sorry for what's happened.
Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return the way it was before.
Huh? What do you mean?
I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon.
Shit damn, boys. Alright, let's talk with you.
I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds.
There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper at the Bailey. And now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock.
Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths.
But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters.
And there have been
Thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent.
That's certainly true, or it has been at least until now.
Ugh.
No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history.
So, Cosmo will be prosecuting tomorrow?
That's right.
But, he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart.
Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed for the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I've no doubt about it at all that Cosmo will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain.
It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial.
You asked for this? But why?
It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation.
Yeah. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact.
You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks.
So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution?
Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months.
Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't gonna end well, my friend.
My friend, as long as you have enough. Let me ask about the gun.
Oh yeah, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zeeks?
That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene.
Well, the thing is, he wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct!
It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine.
In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim.
No, Gregson has his gun on his person. What about Lord Van Zeeks? He claims it's currently not in his possession. Well, that's damning.
What?
According to his story, he lost it. Well, that's damning. In short, it's more than a little suspicious.
But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his.
No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zeeks.
It doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart.
Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down our empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery.
Those final. No, I saw on the menu. There's actually one more case after this, which makes me very interested because yeah, as you say, this does seem very final feeling. But there's one more after this, and I'm wondering like what all is gonna go down there. Sorry to have taken so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Oh. Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? I just wanted to thank you. Kazuma-sama? What?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection.
You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you.
Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here.
Oh.
I actually have a favor to ask. I have something to ask of you.
Which is...
This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as a defense counsel.
What? Why? What's this all about?
I know you have what it takes.
But Lord Van Zeeks would never put his fate in my hands.
On the contrary, he recognizes your talent.
He does?
It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this.
Oh, fucking... Every time I see Gregson now, I'm just gonna be sad. Thanks, game. That's Lord Van Zeeks and Inspector Gregson. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's that third person? Is it Clint?
It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office.
In Gregson's office, you mean? Why, Clint kinda... Okay, look, I didn't want to say it, but...
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view.
But Kazuma, that's the one thing I can't do!
Take it. Gregson's photograph is a treasured memory.
I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over.
What are you doing, Kazuma?
Well, now you might want to get out of here. You know, quickly, scuttle off. Make him change his tone.
Lord Van Zeeks is still reading that letter. Must be a long boy. We've been gone for quite some time, though.
Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. I was intending to ignore you entirely, but I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese.
Sorry, I didn't think you'd hear that.
I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Oh? Can I have it? Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business.
So, have you found a lawyer?
How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no.
You're just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided.
I expect nothing less. Though I have no idea who it is. It's gonna be Kazuma Asogi.
Duh! Asogi!
That made the color drain from his face. Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. How regrettable.
Well, actually, first...
Yeah, I'm wondering what the final's gonna be about.
Boop, here you go. Lord Van Zeeks. We came by his old photograph.
Ah! Where'd you get that?
Just hit him with the 1-2 punch. He was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost.
Is the man on the left there...
Yes, that's my brother, Clint.
It had to be, really. Bum, 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 bum. Apparently, his picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know? Were you aware of that?
Respect! That's nonsense!
No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less.
Final case is kind of like bridge with case 4. Ah, okay. So it's sort of like a dual destiny Spirit of Justice thing then. Okay.
Well, actually, no. Spirit of Justice did the head-ass thing of fucking fusing two things that should have been separated into one big case. God, I hesitate to say hate, but God, Spirit of Justice is baffling.
It is like dual destinies, though, yeah. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future, justice, and other such lofty subject matter.
Yeah, 7 cases. Yeah.
That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. And I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There's a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, a little sparkle even, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the Stone Cold Reaper of the Bailey.
All right, let's talk.
10 years ago, my older brother, who was director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi.
Genshin Impact, Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father.
So what cruel twist of fate is this now? 10 years later, the man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court? I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset.
But what could he have been hoping to achieve?
Let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese. Right, your hatred of us all Japanese. Alright, let's dig into the heart of the racism. I've only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer, the so-called professor. Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asogi? Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Sheesh. It wasn't just him either. A lot of people's outlooks were changed by this incident and all the things that happened because of it. Yeah. How awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Asogi's trial. Wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented.
What do you mean by ascribed prosecutor?
The man in charge of the professor case inquiry, Lord Mail Strongheart.
Oh. Wait, what?
Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted.
I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. What a nice man, who clearly doesn't have any ulterior motives.
Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you?
Duh!
And of all things, as a lawyer, I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical, but for so many years that hatred festered inside me. I could no longer control it. And I can understand why. Now I know that... I wouldn't say I understand why, but, like... I know. I have the lore now. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. But in the same way that I've long felt that Nippon needs to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Sogi, I'm the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month, but he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yeah, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? I mean, transfer internationally, I mean. Also, Rio's like the worst person to forgive him. Yeah. Did he? I don't think he. Did he explicitly say forgiveness? I hope not. He says he understands. He's not forgiving, which is good. You shouldn't. If somebody like does all of these like if somebody says all these horrible like prejudicial things to you, you have no what's the word? You are not indebted to them to forgive them. It's the first time I've ever encountered it. You can, like, maybe in a scenario like this, you can set aside your differences for a bit, but you are in no way like, you are in no way forced to forgive them. The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. It sounds like that mystery is even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector was pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble, that made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of the Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. It's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. Inspector Gregson. What a lad. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah, yes. It's not mine. Really? Because a common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart informs that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That I don't know. Oh. I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. Maybe it's just because of, like, his fucking old fucking yee ass outfit, but I cannot imagine him, like, wielding a firearm. You have something in common with Lord Van Zeeks, after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things. No. This has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating me with him. Oh, dear. The rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, is that the first time you've called me by that title? Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name. Yep! I have lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. Fuck, you really... Okay, look, you really had to hit me with... Oh, god damn it. No, I didn't want to turn around my opinion on you, but then you said you also don't trust the police, and But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth.
Lord Van Zeeks!
From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me.
You mean this photograph?
Back then, I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe.
I'm so sorry.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me?
Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo.
And my life is in your hands.
God fuck, man. For Lord Van Zeeks? That must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend Kazuma. Oh, pain. Pain, I'm gonna have to wait till Saturday. Well. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it here, because we're almost at 3 hours, and I feel like the trial is gonna push us into 4, and I'm not in the current place to do a 4-hour stream. So, for now, thank you for coming, thank you for staying, thank you for watching this show, and on Saturday, we will continue this case.